I want to bring in Dr. Ben Carson for this, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Mr. Secretary, A, welcome back. B, this low mortgage rate seems to be a shot in the arm for the housing industry, isn't it?
It's fantastic. Obviously it makes it possible for a lot of people who weren't thinking previously about obtaining a mortgage to be able to get one. It's good for the mortgage issuers and for the servicers. It's basically good for everybody, but we do have to keep in mind that, these things can undulate. So, we don't know what it's going to be 5 years from now, but I encourage people to take advantage of the low rates, particularly the fixed rates.
Yes, exactly. I mean, if you've got an adjustable rate mortgage and it's coming due to move up, why not think about 3.82% for 30 years to come? I mean, that's a fixed rate, never changes. You don't have to worry. But let me move on to the substance of the interview here, because I know that you're trying to cut the red tape behind the soaring costs of housing. But I have to point out to you, look, in California, 40% of a home's cost, a new home, is sticking to building regulations. And you can't do anything about that because they're California rules.
You have hit the nail on the head. It's a real problem. And the places where we see the most homelessness and the most despair are the places that have the most regulations. And isn't it kind of funny? We're in a political cycle right now where there are a bunch of people who want even more regulations, more government control, and others who say, kind of let the market forces work. But one of the things that we need to do is just take a look at these regulations. I think even the people who want regulations will agree that some of them don't make a lot of sense. Like, only people who are related to the owner of the house can live in it. Why was there such a regulation? Because years ago people were concerned about brothels popping up in their neighborhood. Well, who's concerned about that anymore? And some of the density regulations and the height restrictions in California, now you got to have solar panels. Come on, give me a break. Give people some credit for being able to control their own lives and know what kind of things they need.
So
you look at the transportation.
Well, yeah. I'm just trying to say, look, part of your solution is to open everything up. Tell people what these regulations are. Sunlight as a good disinfectant. That's part of your solution, is it?
Education is key, and particularly, in dealing with NIMBYism, not in my backyardism, because, people, and I understand, want to maintain the value of their home. And we want to maintain the value of their homes, too. And that's why the government doesn't do things like they used to do in the 60s, building these gigantic complexes with no forethought, no afterthought, no maintenance. We don't do that anymore. It's much smaller public-private partnerships, things that blend in with the community and with the culture, so that, your firemen and your nurses and your teachers can live in the same neighborhood where they work. That only improves the quality of the neighborhoods. So there's education that needs to be done there as well.
We think you should be getting more publicity because you're affecting more people's lives in a positive way than most other people in the cabinet, and that's a fact. Dr. Ben Carson, we hope you'll come back.
Well, we are getting a lot, and I just want to thank you because you're one of the people who really gets it and understands what's going on. I appreciate you.
Oh, that's very nice of you to say that, Dr. Carson. As one of the great brain surgeons of the world, that is flattery for a mere painted actor fresh off the boat from England. So it's great to have you on the show. You can come anytime you like, Dr. Carson, anytime you like. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.